A cheerful good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you present today in the science class. Once again, I welcome you back on behalf of Sunbeam Academy. Starting with our today's class, before going ahead, I hope all of you would have gone through the newspapers and everything. That is, our vaccination drive has been already started from 16th of January. That is day before yesterday. Okay, and at the same time, within 3 days, that is most probably by today or tomorrow, as per the working days, so Saturday, Monday and Tuesday, or if we include the holidays as well, so by Tuesday only around 60,000 or 90,000 workers, they are going to get vaccinated. Moving on to the second priority after that, and most probably the third one, the common people. Okay, let us start with our today. And sorry, before going ahead, I hope all of you are taking the precautions and everything so that we be on a safer side. As all of us we know that we are almost at the verge, or basically this COVID-19 is on the verge of extinction in India. If we are talking about, as the number I'm sorry. Okay, as the number of COVID cases has been reducing remarkably, there has been continuous decline in the number of COVID cases. So I hope this is just because of all the precautions which have been taken by us, or the correct steps, or the proper steps which have been taken by our government at right time to promote awareness and to prevent this COVID-19 pandemic situation. Okay, so let us start with this our today's class. As what I remember is that we have already started with our chapter, that is your changes in our environment. So before going ahead, again, as we are continuously doing it in our all the classes, so first and the foremost thing, the syllabus part which we are talking about here. So the syllabus, as per the syllabus which is given here or which is present here, okay, changes in our environment, that is to identify the materials which can be reduced, these are the activities which have to be done. But as per the syllabus, if you are able to see, just now you have given your periodic test 2 in January of these two chapters, that is your simple machines and air and water, followed by your annual exams which are going to be scheduled within very soon, that is either at the end of Feb or in the beginning of March. And we have here the four chapters which are going to come in our annual exams, that is your rocks and minerals, the sun, the earth and the moon, changes in our environment, and your natural disasters. So these are the four chapters which are going to be included in our annual syllabus, apart from your diagrams from periodic test 2. Out of these four chapters, rocks and minerals, sun, earth and the moon, changes in our environment and natural disasters, we are on the third one, that is rocks and minerals, already completed long back. Sun, the earth and the moon, also completed long back. And we have already started our changes in our environment, and this is going to be completed today. So let us start with this part. Okay, what we are able to observe here is, that is, okay, if what I remember is that in the last class I was just ending my I ended up with the descriptions or little bit about the solar energy, solar panels and windmills, as these are the renewable sources of energy which are not going to pollute. Not even a single percentage of pollution is there from them, and at the same time the maximum output, and they can be used again and again as many number of times as we want. Okay, so in this way, let us start with our last topic, that is reduce, reuse and recycle. When we are talking about reduce, reuse and recycle, so these are the 3R principle of environmental protection. Okay, we should follow the 3Rs of environmental protection. So basically the it is what it is your these 3R. Okay, okay, so the 3R is basically the principle. Okay, principle or rule or anything, okay, on the basis of which we are going to, or 3R ways also you can, 3R way by which we are able to protect our environment. And since why it is known as your 3R principle, because continuously we have been focusing here, that is we have all the 3Rs, that is all these terms, they are related to the protection or reducing the amount of waste which is being generated into our environment, or to make our environment clean enough. But at the same time, okay, what we have here is, that is all of them, they start from R only. The first letter of each and every word is capital R. So that is why this here we have reduce, reuse and recycle. Okay, so we should follow the 3Rs of environmental protection, that is your reduce, reuse and recycle, to conserve the earth's natural resources. When we are talking about the earth's natural resources, so since all of you know, that is whatever things which is present on the surface of the earth, and it is getting produced naturally without being provided something from humans, all of them, they are your natural resources. Like water, nobody is producing the water, okay, our soil, nobody is producing the soil. Fossil fuels, when we are talking about, that is your coal, petroleum, diesel and everything, okay, these are our natural resources only, okay. So since nobody is helping all these natural resources, or nobody is producing all these natural resources, so it is our humble duty and as well as responsibility to protect the resources which are present on the surface of the earth, okay. And then only, and related to this conservation of natural resources only, we have this 3R principle, that is your reduce, reuse and recycle, okay. We should reduce the use and wastage of resources, okay. First let me explain you this thing verbally, and thereafter we will be going ahead with the reading and explanation, okay. So when we are talking about reduce, reuse and recycle, okay, if you remember, I don't remember that I have discussed with you, but now I am going to discuss this part. As all of you know that basically why this exploitation has become, why this exploitation began, or why this exploitation is at its extreme level, okay, what is the main reason for that. So what I think is that the basic reason for this is the demand, okay. As all of you know that the demand of the human population is increasing day by day, okay. Each and everyone wants to enjoy the resources very nicely, but they do not want to put it in a proper manner, okay. That is reduce our consumption or reduce our needs, ठीक है. पहले के लोग क्या नहीं रहते थे, वो लोग भी रहते थे, लोग मिट्टी के घर में भी रहते थे, फिर उसके बाद खपड़े के घर में, ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद शेड्स आए, टिन शेड्स आए. तो इस तरीके से धीरे धीरे हमारा क्या हुआ, मॉडर्नाइजेशन हुआ. टुडे वी आर लिविंग इन द रूफ टॉप हाउसेस, ओके. बट व्हाट अबाउट इफ यू थिंक अबाउट द कल्चर, वैल्यूज एंड एवरीथिंग, day by day we are becoming nuclear and nuclear basically means that is you are becoming single and single, okay. Nobody wants to live in a joint family nowadays, okay. That is the most probable reason for the separation of the families and increase in the expansion of it, okay. Like if you just as we have taken the example of public transport, if you remember in the last class. So not only this public transport, if you take the example of your homes only, okay, that is if you remember, so that one pressure cooker which is present in your homes, or when your mother is using it to prepare the food of 2 to 3 peoples in your home, okay. So that pressure cooker can prepare the food of more than 3 people, that is 4 to 5 or 6 to 7 people in one shot only, or in one slot only. But since we are living nuclear, that is though our brothers and sisters or your father's brothers and sisters, they have already been separated, or if they are living together, well and good, or due to any of the reasons, if you all are living separately, Okay, so what will happen if just think of the situation that is two persons are there and they are brothers, okay, and due to some reasons they get separated, okay, or two families they get separated. So what I hope you can understand that within one slot, within one kitchen, within one house or homes, both the families were able to survive for for some period of time. But just after some time, what happens? The separation starts just because of the people, the mentality of the people, or the thinking of the people. Okay, so what happens? The number of resources which are getting used, that gets increased, because now two families will use two houses. Okay, two families will use two LPG cylinders, two families will use two gas stoves. Okay, so two families will use two vehicles. Okay, and at the same time two families will be doing their tasks separately, which is going to consume more and more amount of resources, which can be reduced or which was reduced when both the families were living together. Okay, so in this way what we can say is that I'm not telling all of you to get united together or anything like that. I just gave you a simple example, that is how our needs got increased, either due to intentionally or unintentionally, whatever may be the reason for that. And this point of explanation which I'm giving you, you are going to understand in a much better way at a later point of your life or at a later stage of your life. Okay, moving ahead with this. So first is, that is reduce, that is हमें अपनी needs को क्या करना है, कम करना है. ठीक है, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से पहले लोग क्या थे, कम पैसे में खुश थे, ठीक है, हेल्दी थे, ठीक है, ज़्यादा दिन तक जिंदा भी थे, ठीक है, टेंशन नहीं था, कुछ नहीं था. But people today, okay, they are running behind money, they are running after power, they are running to become successful, and various other things are there. Okay, but the thing is that none of them they are thinking about the conservation of the natural resources. Okay, apart from this, if we go ahead with the next part here, so we have here is, that is reuse. That is, we should have the habit of reusing the things again. Okay, like just one of the examples I can give you here. Okay, this is my just box or case box of the my specs. Okay, so since my specs used to get broken very frequently, since I used to put it in with my helmets. Okay, so the frame gets broken from here. So what I did, that since I have to change the specs again and again, so I got 2 to 3 more case box, okay, or the cases or the boxes of these specs. So I thought of throwing it initially, but then I thought of utilizing it for some other purposes. Okay, that is, this is the basic. The basic is the reuse technology, or basically, sorry, not the technology, reuse method. Okay, so first reduce, that is, I have to have a control on myself, on my needs, on my heart, कि हम किस तरीके से अपनी needs को control रखें, अपने मन को दबा करके रखें. And at the same time, second thing is that we should just like I started using it for keeping your forceps, needles and everything, that is all the instruments which are being used in the labs. Okay, when we used to visit the lab, so we used to need forceps, blades, a small lens, and some kind of your threads as well. Okay, so I started keeping all these things in my one of the case box. So in this way I was reusing it again and again, instead of throwing it there or treating it as a waste, or just going on purchasing the new ones. Okay, so these are some of the methods which can be used for the betterment of the environment, and at the same time promoting the eco-friendly techniques. Okay, the last part, that is your recycle, reduce, reuse and recycle. So recycle basically means that if very much need is not there. Okay, like if I take the example of the few schools, or basically some of the organizations, or anything, you take your own examples only. Basically you are being told to prepare fair copies for your fair works. Okay, fair notebooks, that is, your fair notebooks are quite costly as well, they are not very less expensive or cheap or anything like that. Okay, So since all these fair notebooks, they are very much expensive, they are very much costly. Okay, so the thing is that we should we have recycled copies as well for the rough notebooks. Some of the students you would be able to observe in your own class only, that is they keep on using the same fair notebooks for their rough work as well, okay, which can be prevented. Okay, if you, even if you have the money, so why to waste it? Because ultimately you are not bothered about that money, but the thing is that you should think of the environment at least. Okay, so we should use the recycled copies, because when you give your copies or the fair notebooks to the waste collectors, that is your kabadi walas or the paper collectors, paper waste collectors, so they used to recycle these papers, and then they get converted into rough notebooks, and many a times when the recycling is done, your complete paper becomes little bit reddish or brownish in color or blackish in color. Okay, so this is what we can use this recycled copies as well. They are not as much bad as we think of them. Okay, let us go ahead with the explanation part as well. Okay, so first and the foremost thing is we should reduce the use and wastage of resources. जब तक हमें बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी नहीं है, so we should minimize our resources so that our resources can be used judicially and we are able to live. We as well as our children, they are able to utilize these resources in the same way as we are utilizing it. Okay, the next, or what are the things which should be done here is, okay, we should use a bucket and a mug to take bath instead of using the shower. Okay, so here we have is, that is we should use a bucket and a mug to take a bath instead of using a shower. Okay, but one thing I would like to say here, that is this bucket and mug, it is one of the methods to conserve water, which is again a natural resource. Okay, because all of us, we know that the amount of water which is getting wasted at the time of taking bath or going to the washrooms or washing our hands or anything like that, okay, that is much more huge, and that is not much more dirty water as compared to the waters which are being generated from the factories. So this water can be utilized for the irrigation purposes, but since we do not have a proper irrigation system, a proper drainage channel in our cities, so this entire water goes into the drainage and it completely becomes a waste here. Okay, so basically you should use a mug and a bucket, that is going to reduce the amount of water which is being used. Okay, the next we have here is, that is we should take only as much food in the plate as we need, so that we do not waste food. Okay, now this is one of the most common thing जो आप सभी लोगों ने ऑब्जर्व किया होगा, मुझे जहाँ तक उम्मीद है, whenever you go to any of the parties. Okay, ठीक है, I'm quite surprised to see those kinds of people कि मतलब if you don't want to eat, why to keep it in your plates? In order to show that yes, you have gone through the entire party, or you have gone through the entire buffet stalls or anything like that. Okay, and you have all the dishes in your plates, why to show off that? Oh, try to use only those things, or try to have only those things in your plate which you want to eat. Okay, you just don't have to taste it, okay, each and everything, because it has been proper saying as well, that is what do we say to that? हिंदी में कुछ कहावत है इसके लिए कि खाना और कपड़ा अपने मन का ही पहनना चाहिए, शायद कुछ ऐसा है. आई एम नॉट प्रीटी श्योर, बट आई हैव हर्ड मेनी टाइम्स of this part. Okay, so even if you are getting a lot number of dishes in front of you, okay, you should prefer for those only which is healthy for you, which is a proper balanced diet for you, and at the same time you do not waste it. Consume as much as possible, but slowly and slowly. You could take it again and again, use it, eat it as much you want, but don't throw it into the dustbin. Okay, just by keeping it in your plates, okay, and then throwing it into the dustbin, because there are many others who are not able to get proper foods in our country, in our state, in our district, in our city. Okay, Moving ahead with this, we have here that is we should take we should buy only things that we need. अभी मैंने जैसे आपको बताया ये स्पेक्ट्स के बॉक्स का एग्जांपल लेकर के, दैट इज जितनी चीज़ों की हमें ज़रूरत है हम वही चीज़ें खरीदें. कोई ज़रूरी नहीं कि हम सारी चीज़ों को खरीद करके शो ऑफ करें या फिर कुछ भी करें. ओके, वी शुड कैरी अ क्लॉथ बैग व्हेन वी गो फॉर शॉपिंग. वी शुड नेवर एक्सेप्ट प्लास्टिक बैग्स. ओके, जब भी हम कभी बाहर जाएं तो वी शुड यूज आवर ओन paper bags or cloth bags or whatever one, depending on the type of material which we are going to buy. And at the same time, if anyone is giving the plastics also, please try to avoid them and tell them it's okay, I don't need a plastic, or I'll be able to manage it somehow. Okay, that's it. This is going to put a good sign for you as well as it will be a little bit of what you can say shame for that shopkeeper as well. That is, as plastic is a ban, and at the same time it is going to cause a lot of pollution in our environment, but still people are using it again and again. Okay, the last part we have here is that is reusing and recycling help in reducing the amount of waste. We can reuse things directly or recycle them for further use. Okay, so reusing and recycling, ठीक है, जब हम किसी भी चीज़ को बार बार यूज करते हैं तब तक यूज करते हैं जब तक वो एकदम से वेस्ट ना हो जाए. दैट इज एट अप टू द लास्ट लेवल. ओके, एंड रिसाइकलिंग, दैट इज जब एकदम से वेस्ट हो जाए, सो वी यूज टू प्रोवाइड इट टू द वेस्ट कलेक्टर्स बिकॉज दे यूज टू सेग्रीगेट द वेस्ट and transport it as per the recycling companies or the factories or anything like that. Okay, we can reuse things directly or recycle them for further use. हम लोग directly भी reuse कर सकते हैं, जैसे मैंने specs का example दिया, और हम लोग उसको recycle करके भी दोबारा use कर सकते हैं. Okay, one more example I would like to provide you here is मैंने कई बार दुर्गा कुंड में बताया भी है मोस्ट प्रोबेबली बच्चों को, ठीक है. आई होप आई शुड शेयर द सेम स्टोरी विथ यू एज वेल. Okay, whenever you are going to have the ice creams, basically from the Amul parlor or any other parlors, okay, whichever one you feel like, that is your Baskins and Robbins or any other ice cream shops, whichever one you love to have it. Okay, whenever we are purchasing the ice creams, you'll be able to find that they used to give a very beautiful boxes are there. Okay, I don't remember, I have one or two here. Okay, so just after eating the ice creams, we used to throw that box. Okay, because we feel quite shame enough, that is, अरे अब तो आइसक्रीम खा लिया, अब उसको हाथ में कैसे ले सकते हैं या इधर उधर कैसे रख सकते हैं. But the same this is the story from my real incident only. Okay, and it was in Durga Kund only, as we have one of the Amul parlors just in front of our school only. So what I did is that I just finished off my ice cream. I was with my son as well. Okay, and I asked for a poly bag or something like that, or I had my own. So I just kept that entire box into my bike, that is, and I washed it at my home, and I started keeping all the smaller items like your keys or your pen drives or card readers or anything like that. Okay, I started keeping them in that, and that box or the container is superb looking, and at the same time very tight, that is your airtight container caps are there. Okay, so I was a little bit happy enough, that is I am able to reuse it again and again. I hope these kinds of initiatives can be taken by you as well. This is not a very hard and fast rule, but the thing is that you will have to come out of your comfort level. Okay, stop thinking about what others are going to think. Just think what is right for you. Go for it. Okay, moving ahead with this, so we have here, that is the next part. Okay, we should reuse things such as paper, cans and bottles. अभी मैंने आपको बताया पेपर को रीयूज कैसे कर सकते हैं, क्राफ्ट्स बना सकते हैं. ठीक है, अगर आप नहीं कर पा रहे तो हम उसको रिसाइकिल करके पेपर वाले को बेच देते हैं, जिससे कि वो उसे रिसाइकिल करके दोबारा यूज़ कर सके. कैंस, वी कैन यूज़ इट. अ लॉट ऑफ कैन एक्टिविटीज़ रिलेटेड टू क्राफ्ट्स आर देयर, एज वेल एज बॉटल्स. आप यूट्यूब पे भी देख करके उनसे ट्राई कर सकते हैं. वी कैन यूज़ द अनयूज्ड पेजेस ऑफ द ओल्ड नोटबुक्स फॉर रफ वर्क एंड प्रैक्टिस. ये भी हम लोग कर सकते हैं. हम उन अनयूज्ड कॉपीज़ को, ठीक है, टेस्ट कॉपीज भी बना सकते हैं, नॉट एट ऑल अ प्रॉब्लम फ्रॉम माई साइड. ओके, द नेक्स्ट वन, वी कैन रीयूज प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स एंड कैन्स फॉर स्टोरिंग थिंग्स. अभी मैंने आपको एकदम लाइव एग्जांपल इसका दे ही दिया है. ठीक है, प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स can be used as a fridge bottle or water bottles which can be kept into the fridge. Okay, and the cans, they can be used either for storing things, or even you can put a small saplings into the cans as well. Okay, the next we have here is that is just as we sell old newspapers for recycling, we should also sell other unused things such as metal scrap in our homes that are recyclable. Metal items, cans, broken glass materials and plastic items are recycled in factories to make new things. This saves our precious resources. Okay, recycle all your paper waste when you buy notebooks or notebook paper. Choose the ones that have been made using the recycled paper. Okay, starting with this, so we have here is, okay, so once more I would like to tell you about this thing. That is, here it is talking about, that is mostly, this is very much common in our homes. That is, we used to sell the old newspapers. Okay, and we get some amount of money in return for that. Okay, in the same way we should sell other materials as well. You might be amazed to know, or you might be surprised to know, that even we have the agencies or the companies or even the websites as well who is going to purchase our older clothes as well. Okay, or sometimes if you we used to get some kind of informations in the Kolkata Bazaar or your I don't remember the name. That is, you can exchange your old clothes and you'll be getting some amount of money for that, or you bring your old clothes and you can just redeem your money by purchasing some new things there. Okay, so that is basically the process of recycling only. ठीक है, because people do not prefer for recycling. ठीक है, उन्हें नहीं पसंद होता है. क्यों? क्योंकि उन्हें कोई पैसे नहीं मिलते हैं. लेकिन जब उसी रिसाइकलिंग के आपको पैसे मिलने लगते हैं, सो यू गेट सम अमाउंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एज वेल. ओके, सो दिस वाज ऑल फॉर टुडे. नाउ वी हैव कंप्लीटेड आवर चैप्टर. आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू प्लीज read the chapter once more thoroughly. If you have any of the problems, please do ask me in the query session. Okay, moving ahead with this, so these are your keywords, or define the following terms: greenhouse effect, global warming and recycling. Only 3 are there. I request you to please write down this thing and share it in the query session window, or even along with today's date as well. Okay, so that I would be able to know, as very less of the people they used to respond in the query session window. So I request you to please complete your fair work on time as well. Okay, in the nutshell, this is the complete summary basically. That is what are the things what all we have studied in this chapter. That is all the living and non-living things around make up the environment. If you remember, living biotic, non-living abiotic. Only human beings change the environment to suit their needs. Some gases such as carbon dioxide and water vapor trap heat and send it back towards the earth. This is called greenhouse effect. The increase in the overall temperature of the atmosphere due to increase of the greenhouse gases is called global warming. We should follow the 3 R's: reduce, reuse and recycle in our daily lives. So this was all which we have already studied in this chapter. So this is basically nothing but the summary of the chapter. Okay, so now your homework is to just complete your fair work by writing down all these 3. Define the following terms. Tomorrow we are going to do the book exercises along with the fair notebooks, and we will be discussing it, as well as I'll be providing you with the PDF of that. Okay, so that you can write it by your own, or you can just copy it down. Okay, but I think that you should try it by your own, and then you match your answers with me, so that this will make a habit also for you. Okay, so this was all for today. I hope you are going to take some of the initiatives to preserve our environment, to conserve our environment, promote some of the eco-friendly techniques, and at the same time take all the necessary precautions to deal with this COVID-19 situation. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for being with me, and have a superb day ahead. Thank you.